look what we managed to find, guys. So we came along the corner and we spotted his footprints, and I knew that the footprints were very fresh because they were on top of the vehicles that had been driving here this afternoon, and out came our little boy leopard that we were looking for. So he's just on his afternoon patrol now. I was saying that this is the right time for him to be out and moving, and so it's the best part of the day is that it's cooler now and leopards start to move and they start to try and walk around in search of prey animals. So we've got him at just the right time, and I think I know where he's going to go. He's probably going to head into an area where there's a nice waterhole that he likes to spend time at, and maybe he's going to have a big drink. You see he's got a big yawn there. That's because he's just woken up right now. So he's going to get going. Remember, if you have lots of questions about a leopard, send them through and we'll try and get them as much as possible. Zarina, you're asking what my favorite animal is. Well, we're looking at it. This is my absolute favorite animal. I love leopards and I like to spend as much time as I can with them all the time. But Zarina, before I carry on, can you hear above me there's a sound that's being made? So the sound that's being made is because of a squirrel that is sitting right there, just on the low branch sensor, right there. You see the squirrel? Now the squirrel's upset to see the leopard, so it's shouting at everybody to tell everyone, I've seen a predator. Everybody be careful. Amazing, eh? That's very cool. Now the leopard is going to probably move around, sniff around. So I'm going to catch up with him, but in case he goes the wrong way, because he might turn the wrong direction. If he turns to my left, then he goes away from our area. If he turns to our right, then he's going the right way. So we're going to try and keep up with him, but he seems to be going the right way, which is fantastic news for us. But he's on his, like I say, his afternoon movement. He's not a dominant male yet. He's not a dominant boy. He's still very young. He's about 21, 22 months old now, and so he's not able yet to mark his territory and scent mark. So what he does is he moves around trying to look for food until such time as he reaches about 3 years old, 3.5, which is when he's going to start establishing himself as a territorial male, and he's going to try and find a territory of his own that he can then dominate and scent mark and try and find females and mommy leopards to keep in this area. Now, I believe the school, you guys say thank you for showing a leopard. Well, it's my absolute pleasure. I love seeing leopards, and I hope that you're going to really enjoy these leopards too, and that we're going to have a wonderful rest of our safari with this male as he walks around. Now, I'm hoping, like I said, that he's going to go north, and he's going to cut up towards this dam, because it's going to be beautiful if he goes that way, because there's a nice big water hole, and he can have a really nice drink, and with the sunset, it's going to be really good. Now, while our leopard starts to go to that water hole, we're going to quickly go across to Noel, whose waterbuck are starting to fight. Well, we've still got our leopard, but listen, there's a sound like a dog barking to my left. You'll hear it every now and then, and you see his tail's in the air. So his tail's in the air because he's telling these kudu, which are the ones that are barking like the dog. They're coming on our left-hand side. You'll see them. Now, there's a whole bunch of them, and they're shouting at this leopard. They're alarm calling. They're saying, we've seen you. We know you here. Don't come any closer. And they're the ones making that loud barking sound that we were hearing just now. He's obviously not too interested. Well, there we go. Look, he's coming towards them. He's growling at them. You hear them barking at him? Look at that. He's coming actually closer. I'm so surprised that he's going closer. The kudu will lose their nerve and they will run. But there's too many kudu and they're too big, and he doesn't have the advantage or the ability now to hunt them because he's a secretive animal. So he's what we call an ambush predator. An ambush means that he likes to hide and then wait for the animal to come, and then he can surprise them. Now, with this situation, these kudu have seen him. They know that he's there, and so he has no more ability to surprise them, and therefore it's very difficult for him to hunt them, and he's going to leave them alone. He's moving off, but the kudu are following to try and make sure. And you see there's lots and lots of kudu coming out, plenty of them that are moving through the thicket, and they're coming all over to come and see this leopard. So I think there's about 9 or 10 kudu here, and these are our largest antelope, so they're much bigger than some of the other antelope that we get in here. Leah, you're asking what colors can leopards be? Well, this is actually a very good question. Some people might think it's a silly question because most leopards look like that, where they're a little bit kind of orangey with black spots all over them. But actually, here in South Africa, we get 3 different types of leopard. And so you get the normal leopard that looks like this, that, like I say, has got an orange coloration with black spots. Then you get what we call a melanistic leopard, which is completely black. It almost looks like a black panther. And so those leopards are incredibly rare. You very, 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 very seldom see them. In fact, I've never seen a black leopard myself. And then you get what we call a strawberry leopard. Now, strawberry leopard is known as leucism. Now, leucism and melanism are two forms of color pigment in a cell. So we have melanin, which makes our hair color go dark, and leucism, which is if our hair color has a white pigment in it. And so the white or strawberry leopard has a lot of leucistic capabilities, and it means it's got a lot of white pigments, and so the leopard appears very, very light with very light spots, and it almost looks like a light strawberry color, and that's where it gets its name from. So there's actually three different color forms of a leopard, but the most common and what we see almost 100% of the time, the other two we very, very seldom see, is this color leopard. And he's a beautiful color. He's got a nice dark coat, and males generally do have dark coats. But he is going towards a termite mound, so maybe we're going to get lucky and we're going to see him up on the mound itself. He's also looking in some of the trees, and he's been sniffing as we've been going. So I think he's maybe smelt another leopard in this area. I know that there was a female and a cub that came through here a few days ago, and I think he's smelling the female and the cub, and that's why he's looking in the trees in case there's a carcass that he can steal. Isabel, how many times do I do safari tours? Twice a day, Isabel. So early in the morning for us, because it's now nighttime in our area. So I do early in the morning. We get started at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we're out until about 8:30. And then in the afternoon, I go out again, and we start at about 3 o'clock, and we end at about 6:30. So we have those two periods. And the reason why we do safari at those times, Isabel, is because it is the best time for all of the animals. All right, so there are some animals that move around during the day, but they'll move around when it's in the afternoons. They'll go and get water, and they'll start to find places to rest. And then as the sun sets, like I was saying to you just now, so the cats start to move, and this leopard comes out, and he's now going to go into the night and try and hunt using the cover of darkness. But we are going straight towards that dam that I was telling you about. It's going to take us a bit of time to get there. We obviously got to go through the bush, and we've got to follow this leopard, and we're going to go over some trees and some bushes, and then eventually we're going to pop out on the other side here. But you'll see his nose is down on the ground the whole time, and like I say, he's busy following a female and cub scent because they both walked through this area, and that's why he's picking up their scent. So while I try and follow him through this thicket until we get to the dam on the other side, let's go back to my friend Noelle, who's made her way to the really very, very big dam, and I'm sure she's got lots of interesting things lurking around the water. I do indeed, and this leopard is really very, very interesting because he's smelling all around this tree, and there's actually dung for a little leopard, a cub, just in front of his face there. There is a little bit of dung, and so he's smelling it to try and see who this is. In fact, that's not actually leopard dung. I thought it was, but it's not. It's something else. But you see, look how he's smelling. And if we keep quiet enough, we can actually hear him sniffing. Now look what he's doing. You see, he's showing his teeth. So what he does is he's got an organ in the roof of his mouth. Now, an organ is something like your brain or your lungs or something like that, and it's called the organ of Jacobson, and that's able to tell what that chemical is that he's smelling. So is it a male? Is it a female? If it is a female, does she have cubs? Does she not? So he's very, very clever way of working out who's around him. Yeah, yes, I have seen two leopards fighting. It's not very nice to watch because I love leopards and I don't like to see them fighting. But you'll find sometimes they do fight over territory. So I've seen males and females fight a lot. Oh, look at this. That's so interesting. This young male is too young to be in a territory, like I was saying just now. But he's scent marking, which is a sign that he's now trying to establish a territory. This is the first time I've ever seen this young male scent mark. Now, the difference between scent marking and urinating is when they go to the toilet and they make a wee, they'll just squat when they're young males and they just wee on the ground. But what he's done is he's lifted his tail and he's projected his urine onto the tree. And that means any leopard that walks past, it's at nose level, and they know that there's a male that is marking here and is trying to set up a territory. It is very interesting because it's the first time that we've seen this young boy do that. And it's going to be a difficult thing for him to do because he's now telling any other males that I am in this area, and the big dominant male here, the father of this leopard or the daddy leopard, he's going to chase him away if he finds out that this boy is scent marking, because he knows then that it's going to be a threat to his females and to his mom and to his cubs. So they have to be able to try and then protect the area, and that male will chase this young male away if he's marking territory. And we're going to try and keep up with him because he is walking. He's still going towards the dam. We're not too far away from that waterhole where he will go and drink eventually, but the scent of this female is making him walk quite slowly. He's sniffing all over the place, so typical boy, he's getting distracted very quickly. We know boys can't do two things at once, and so he's getting distracted. Now, of course, that's just a joke. Boys can do two things at once. We're very capable of doing that. Look, I'm even driving and talking at the same time. Very clever, aren't I? But we're not too far away now. We should be coming slowly but surely towards the water. He's going to move through this area, and you can see why a leopard is very difficult to find. Look at how well he camouflages. If you see from where I'm sitting, it's very difficult to see him. His spots blend in very well, and so he is an animal that hides in plain sight. And so if we hadn't found him when we did, by using his footprints to go in the direction that he headed, I don't think we would have found this leopard tonight. So it's amazing to watch leopards as they walk through the grass. They really do camouflage and blend in very, very well. Right, let's keep up with him because I don't want to lose him while he goes towards the water. Of course, I know he is going to go to the water, but I don't want to lose him before he gets there in case he does change direction. You never know 100%. I'm 99% sure, but you never know 100% that he's going to go there. Right, now I've got to be careful of all the little stumps and trees that have been pushed over by all the elephants that we get here. So you'll see lots of trees that are down and broken, and those can be damaging to the car. So I have to watch a little bit while I'm going and make sure that I don't hurt the car in any way. But the road is not far now. I can actually see the road, luckily, which is good news. And so hopefully we'll be on the road fairly shortly. Bryn, we can maybe see zebra. I haven't seen any zebra this afternoon. Where Scotty is in the Masai Mara is a great place for zebra, and maybe he'll be able to find them. I'm not sure if we'll see some here. I haven't seen any yet, but maybe at the dam, you never know. Maybe the zebra are sitting at the dam and we'll be able to watch them from there. So look, he's still moving slowly but surely towards the water. Look at the sunset in the background. Now, Evangelina, leopards have a very, very big amount of food that they can eat. So they'll go after lots of different things, from insects, if you can believe it, all the way through frogs, snakes, tortoises, terrapins, even up to as big as baby giraffe and elephant. So they have a very, very, very wide amount of food to be able to go after. What you'll find, though, is most of the time they hunt what we call small to medium antelope. So like deers that you get in Canada, the same thing. So those kind of size animals is mostly what they go after. They also will hunt things called scrub hares. Now, scrub hares are almost like a rabbit, and so that's also part of their food source that they go after. The bigger they get, though, the bigger the animals that they're able to hunt. Right. Right, now I'm just trying to get through this little thicket. Serena, you're wondering how many teeth a leopard has. Oh, Serena, I really honestly have forgotten now how many, but we can maybe try and count them. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 incisors in the front, so 4 of these teeth here on top and bottom. So that's 8. Then they've got 4 canines, which are the big sharp ones that come down. So there's those. And then, so that's already 12. And then we've got, how many carnassials do they have? They have, I think it's 6 in total. I might be wrong. It might be 5, but I think it's 6. And so they have 6 on the bottom on both sides and on the top on both sides. So that's 12, 18 plus the other 12. So it's close to 30. I think 28 or 30. Somewhere there is about how many they've got. I might be wrong. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's somewhere around that area. You see his tail's up again? It's because the birds were shouting at him. So he's just giving his white tip of his tail like a white flag to say that I'm surrendering. I don't want you to shout at me. Stop making a lot of noise, and we can hopefully then stay nice and quiet. But the dam itself is very, very close now. We're right here. So we should be going to the dam shortly, but while we try and get there before he starts drinking, let's quickly jump back to Noel, who's got some animals that love to be in the dam just as much as this leopard's going to love having a drink from it. Well, we are going to catch up with him now. We're just going towards the waterhole. You'll see there is a vehicle in front of me that is just letting us come past. So thank you, Aubrey. And so they're out on a safari. These are people that have come to the reserve to be able to come and see these animals and to be able to get to know them. So I'm going to go around onto the other side of the dam. And the reason why is because I think this leopard is going to drink from this side and I want to be on the opposite side so I can see his face when he does drink. And that's the idea anyway. Whether or not it does work, I'm not quite sure. Kadri, no, leopards are not faster than cheetahs. Cheetahs is the fastest land animal in the world. So they are much faster than what a leopard is. A leopard runs at about 70 kilometers an hour, whereas something like a cheetah is going to be doing close to 120 if conditions are right. Probably more around 110 to 100, but still much faster than what you're seeing from a leopard. Now, he should be just on the other side there, and hopefully he's going to come across onto our side. I've lost visual of him now. I can't actually see him, so I'm just waiting for him to come. He should come from there. Hunter, you're asking how do leopards clean their bodies? Well, Hunter, basically what they do is they have a very interesting tongue. Their tongue has got rough hooks on it. It almost feels like sandpaper. And so as he cleans and he licks himself with his saliva, it acts like a brush and it takes all of the dirt and the parasites and loose fur. It's like brushing your cat or your dog. It's the same thing, and they get them nice and clean, and that's how they keep themselves very clean. Cats don't like water, so they won't go swimming or try and wash in the water. They're going to clean themselves by licking and trying to get rid of everything using the rough tongue. Now, our leopard should be coming from over there. He was straight across on that side, so theoretically he should be coming down towards where we are. There's some Egyptian geese that are around, so those Egyptian geese, as soon as the leopard comes, are going to go flying off. He might actually even be stalking those Egyptian geese. He might be watching them. In fact, I can actually see him. He's on the other side and he is watching the Egyptian geese, so he's just over on the left-hand side above the green bushes, Sens. So just a little bit to the left. To the left, Sense. So you need to go in, otherwise we're not going to be able to see him because it's going to be very dark. So just on top of those, more to the left. Okay, straight over the top there. There he is. He's just on the other side there. Should be able to see him behind the bush. I can see him just standing there. Maybe it's difficult with the camera angle. Maybe I'm wrong, actually, that it might not be there. But I thought I saw him moving through that direction and watching the Egyptian geese itself. But maybe not. Maria, the reason why leopards have spots is because anything out here that has a plain color, it means that it's easy to spot it. It's easy to see it. And so a leopard has the spots, which makes it break up the outline and makes it more difficult for us to be able to see them. And because a leopard is a shy animal, it likes to hide in deep, dense, dark thickets. It means that the best way to blend in is by having spots. It also, because of the area that they like to spend time in, has both shade and light. That means that the light color and the light orange and then the dark spots means that they blend in even better, and it becomes much harder to be able to see them. And so that's why they have those spots. It is the perfect coloration. Now, I don't know where our leopard's gone. I thought he would have come straight down to the water itself to have a little drink. I left him right there coming this way towards us, and so I was hoping that he would come and drink, but it seems as though he's going to be a bit naughty and maybe he's moved off a little bit. The other vehicle is here and they're going to try and look as well and see if they can spot him as well. Now, Bridget, you're wondering how much a leopard weighs? Well, it depends on the area that you look at them. So here in this particular section, we're in a savanna where there's a lot of prey animals, and so the leopard can eat a lot of different food items and they get very, very big. And so the big male leopards here will weigh about 180 to 200 pounds if they're very large, whereas a female will weigh about 100 to 110 if she's lucky. In other areas of South Africa, so if we go into the Cape, which is down in the southwestern corner of the South Africa where there's mountains, the mountain leopards are much, much smaller. They don't have the same food that they can get to. They hunt mostly birds and lizards and little things called hyraxes, and so they weigh much less. A big male leopard there will weigh the same as our female leopards and weigh around 100 pounds or 50 kilograms around that area, whereas a female leopard will weigh anywhere between 20 and 30 kilograms, whereas our female leopards, like I say, weigh about 50 kilograms or 100 pounds. So it's just a bit different depending on where you are in the area. But I have honestly no idea why he hasn't come down. I thought he would have walked straight towards the water. He was moving exactly in this direction, And so maybe it's just a situation that he's being kind of stopped and is watching the geese, or he's spotted something and he's laid down a little bit. But he's somewhere on that left-hand side, and I'm hoping that he will eventually come meandering and waddling down towards this particular section. What I might do is just go a little bit further forward. So I think he's in that section. Their guys are shining a light in that direction just to spot and just to see if they can see him. So somewhere over there is where he was walking. Now, I thought I saw him sitting there somewhere, but I can't anymore. So I don't know if he's maybe laid down or what he's done, but it seems as though he's not coming towards us this side. So I'm just going to try and reposition so we can get one last view of our leopard, because we don't want a situation where we don't get to see him one last time, because he is beautiful. So let's just try and go around this way and not fall into the water, because we don't want to get everybody wet and the camera's wet. But let's just see. Oh, it's very, very bouncy, so maybe it's going to take me a bit of time to get there. Kadri and Maria, you're wondering why lions are called the kings of the jungle? Well, it's very simple. It's because lions are the biggest of the predators. So they're very, very large, and they are able to basically dominate, which means that they are strong enough to chase all the other predators away and to hurt all the other predators. And so that's why they're called the king, and that's why they've gotten that name. Actually, out here, elephants are the biggest of them all. So now, Senzo, have you spotted him? Where is he? 12 o'clock. I don't see him. Maybe Senzo can see him. So, oh, there he is. He's just sitting by the bush sniffing around and having a little smell. So I'm pretty sure he's going to eventually come down towards the water, but at least we got to see him. It's perfect to get one last look. Now, unfortunately, it is that time of the day where we unfortunately finish our safari and we start to head back to our homes. I hope that all of you have had an absolutely wonderful afternoon with us and enjoyed seeing this beautiful male leopard as it walks towards us in the dark light. Look at how pretty it is. So I really hope that you've loved the leopard and the hippos and all the other animals that we managed to show you this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure, from Scott all the way in the Masai Mara to Noel and her hippos, to myself and the leopard and all the camera ops, Kirsty and FC. We've had a wonderful time, and we'll see you